Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and we've got some juicy bits of information in this video. The very first thing is the casual Hanzo skin is being updated. It's only really been out for a few days, and it's been updated already. You're probably thinking, what the hell? What are they doing to this? Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this bad boy is Hanzo from the Reflections comic. Now, if you look at Hanzo, he's got a nice sort of as we would say in the UK, maybe you would say this around the world as well, I don't know. I've never actually gone and had my hair cut in any other country apart from the UK. But you go into the barbers and something like this would happen. All right, mate, can you give me crop one round the side? And he'd go, yeah, no worries. And then he'd do that, which is this sort of fade effect. It's like a skinhead on the side of your head, and then it goes into your hair. This is actually kind of how I have my hair cut in a way. But that's Hanzo from Reflections, right? Pretty decent, pretty good. This is Hanzo from, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of the source there. This is a fan-made version of this skin. And you can see that it actually has the nice sort of Hanzo fade. Hanzo's got his typical beard, and Hanzo looks like Hanzo, and he looks, well, Hanzo proportion, which is all well and good. Then we get this. We're working on some visual updates to the new Winter Wonderland casual Hanzo skin for January. Here's a quick look at our work in progress. And I was like, what? I genuinely was one of these people who was like, what? I didn't actually realise there were any differences between, well, Hanzo in the game and Hanzo in the Reflections comic, because honestly, I hadn't looked in that much detail. I just was like, wow, that's a casual Hanzo skin. That's good enough for me. But actually, there's a ton of different changes. So if we take a look here at the big image that Blizzard have got, there's a load of changes here, really. So I'll run you guys through this. So what we've got, firstly, is the fact that Hanzo no longer has a grey beard and the side of his head is no longer grey, which does look a bit weird, because why would he have black hair on top of his head but then just suddenly be grey everywhere else? Seems a little bit strange. Unless he likes to use Just for Men and dye his hair. We don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, you can see what they've done on the right-hand side, which is the updated coming versions. I mean, you guys can see that. You've got eyeballs. You can see how they've gone for the more sort of crop one shaved style around his head, and his hair colour is back to the same colour as well it was in Reflections comic. Also, as well, if you look at, this is going to be a bit odd for you guys to see, but if you look at his nose, they've reduced the size of the piercings on his nose. The ones in his ears remain the same. There's also a little change as well to his sort of bagginess of clothing. So if you look on the far left-hand side, we've got the current version. Hanzo's got very baggy trousers, and they're sort of very low hanging, they're not at his waist. On the right hand side, they've sort of pulled his trousers up a bit and tucked him in and gone, there you go, Hanzo. You're a bit more Hanzo-like now, because actually he looks kind of smaller in the game if you compare the current version of this skin with other Hanzo skins. His waist is much lower and he looks a little bit weird. But honestly, I think this is going way and above and beyond. It's typical Blizzard, right? It's we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. I guess it begs the question, why is this Hanzo, the current version, so different to the one in Reflections? Why did they decide to do this when, well, they already had the design for Hanzo in Reflections? They could have just copied it. But like I said, I would have been none the wiser. I wouldn't have even known, ladies and gentlemen, this was a problem. But it was, and in typical Blizzard fashion, they're coming in and fixing this, which just, again, shows you their dedication to this game. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure all you Hanzo mains out there are like, yeah, thank God they're fixing him, and he actually will look like he does in the Reflections comic. All right, the next bit of news. I'm not going to show any footage of this because I think, there's a lot. I'll link to various threads below where you guys can go and check the footage out if you like. But this concerns the suspension, 7-day suspension, ban, whatever you want to call it, of a pro player in the Overwatch League. This is XQC. Now, I covered this player before, and this player actually did put out an apology at that time. Make of that apology what you guys will. Again, I'll link to all of this in the description. I'm not putting this into the video because I don't really think it serves much purpose, because I just really want to have a bit of a discussion about this. However, following recent activity of very, let's say, unprofessional behaviour, he's been banned. But what is noticeable about this is it's a 7-day ban, and it was a manual ban. This wasn't an automated system ban. This was a ban where somebody was waiting for... actually, he was in the middle of a game, and then they banned him right at the end of the game. And this was live on his stream. Now, there's a couple of issues with this, and I think this is... it's both good and bad. And also, as well, a very famous Symmetra one-trick troll has been banned for 16 days now. So, I don't know, you guys make of that what you will. Anyway, The XQC situation is a very interesting one because I think what we've got is an extremely dedicated player that plays a ton of Overwatch, and I mean a ton. I think before XQC used to stream, he used to play Overwatch 24/7. Then he started to stream, get notoriety that way. Obviously, he's an extremely good player. He's a fantastic Winston player. And then he gets into an Overwatch League team, Dallas Fuel. And he took part in the Overwatch League pre-season, which I think was mandatory for all Overwatch League teams. You had to use your entire roster. So he got to play in there. Anyway, it looks like XQC has been going through the grueling schedule of a Overwatch professional, which is literally 8, 9, 10 hours a day of scrimming, so playing against other teams, VOD reviews, which is watching back things which have happened in games and discussing them, tactics discussions, loads of stuff like that. And then he gets home, and then he streams for another 10 hours or whatever the hell he does, playing Overwatch. Now, there comes a point where you will get burnt out. Now, XQC is famous for having a ton of energy. You can see, if you watch his stream, very energetic. Now, the thing is, you're going to burn out. And I think what's happening is, he's burning out, but he's doing it in a very public way. And he's doing it in such a fashion that is probably going to damage his team. So, there's going to be repercussions. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a brief explanation as to what he did. He was throwing games on his XQC account with other pros in the games, and actually Rascal, who is a pro player for London Spitfire, reported him on his stream. He was like, what is this guy doing? He obviously knows who he is. Why is he throwing competitive games? This isn't professional behavior. So reported the player. And obviously there was a lot of other issues. A lot of other pros would then started reporting this player because in games where actually XQC wasn't streaming, he was intentionally throwing games again. Now, I don't think he's doing this maliciously. I don't think he's like, oh, I'm just a mega troll, I'm just going to throw games. I think what's happening is he's just burning out and doesn't really understand what he's doing, and it's just sort of like this crazy reaction. So I think somebody's got to step in and go, hey, you need to calm down a little bit. Instead, what's happened is probably the worst thing possible, where he's gone back and started streaming again, right? So this is all going to be public, which I think is a really bad decision from whoever the hell is managing XQC. They should be saying, look, you want to just lay off streaming for a while now because you've done something pretty bad and you are most likely going to get banned for that because you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And instead he's gone back home, started streaming, and Blizzard have, well, publicly banned him, which is like a disaster if you think about it. Now, let's think about this publicly banning high-profile players, because it's not really fair, is it, to all the other players who are doing the same sort of thing, yet they don't get banned. The only reason this player has been banned is because of who it is. It's a high-profile player. It's got a lot of fans. Everybody knows who he is. So if we ban him, it's like making an example of this player. And I think that's okay in one sense, because yeah, these players are sort of the pillars of the community, right? Especially if they're Overwatch League players, because those guys are supposed to be the absolute best. Like, they uphold all of Overwatch's values. So, you know, be a good player, positive mental attitude, you know, all of that stuff. So if these players start being toxic like that, then it sort of throws the game into disrepute in a way, and Blizzard then have to act. So I think both sides of the argument, it's very complex, really. Blizzard, on the other hand, like on one hand, can't just sit there and do nothing. On the other hand, they've got to act. XQC and his Dallas Fuel guys have got to realise that actually having him go back out and start streaming again after he's done something which is pretty bad, really. You know, these are players under contract as well. It's not like they've just bought the game and they're playing it having fun. No, they're under contract with their teams and with Overwatch League. So there's certain rules that they have to abide by, and if they don't do that, then they're going to have action taken against them. In fact, there was not a video, there was a I think it might have been a video, but it was the Shanghai Dragons players. They were account sharing. I think so. One of them could play at a lower rank or something ridiculous, like just to have fun, or so they said. Shanghai Dragons found out about this, and they fined them a month's wage or something crazy. So that's like a heavy fine. So I think, like, in the grand scheme of things, XQC getting a 7-day suspension, ban, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's a ban because you're prevented from playing the game for 7 days, but a ban would imply it's permanent. It's not. He will come back, and actually, he can still play on other accounts, which does seem a little bit weird, right? So you can ban one account, but then, like, the same player can just come back and carry on playing again. I think maybe it should be IP bans. I don't know. I don't know how they would work that out, though, because, I mean, if you were using your account from a different location, your IP was different, all of that stuff, I'm not sure. It's a very contentious issue, though, this is, guys. Hopefully this has been an interesting debate on it, because there are both sides to this coin. Like, on the one hand, Blizzard are forced to act. On the other hand, XQC shouldn't have done what he did. But XQC is a very passionate player, a very high energy player, and he is actually trying to do 2 jobs at once. You know, it would be very much like me trying to run a YouTube channel and stream full time at the same time. You literally cannot do it. You will collapse. I would collapse doing that. In fact, it takes so much effort to run the YouTube channel. I feel really tired all the time anyway. XQC is going to be in the same situation. When you've got a job which is your entire life, like, you know, it's pretty interesting, right? Because I was asked, like, what do you do apart from work? And I was like, I just work. And it's like, oh dear, actually, what do I do? I don't really do anything. I enjoy my job though, so you know, I can't be complaining. I enjoy what I do. It's a great job. It's fantastic. It's awesome that you guys love the videos and all of that stuff. But when you take XQC, he's doing that. He's playing Overwatch professionally. No doubt he's loving it. But then he wants to come back and do another job. And we know what Overwatch competitive is like. There are a lot of players in the game who are... They will antagonize you just because of who you are. Like, I can relate to this more than most people because Stylosa is quite a well-known name in the Overwatch community. So people already, like most games I go into, if I'm playing on Crusher, they'll go, oh, is that Sty? They will ask me that question. Or if I'm playing on my other accounts, they will ask me that question. Most of the time, I just say no and pretend it's not me because, you know, you don't want to be like on all the time. You don't want to go into a game and like have people go, oh my God, Stylosa, and then they start, and it's like, yeah, I love you all, guys, but I've just had this in the last 5 games and I just want to chill. You know, that's why if you've seen a lot of my gameplay videos that I put on the channel, you won't see me actively talking too much in the voice chat. I am in the voice chat. I'm listening to what's being said. I might type every now and again in the text, but I'm not making calls or anything because as soon as I do, people will recognize who I am. And I think pros suffer from this in a large way, which again, you could say, you know, people who target the pros, why are they not getting punished as well? It's quite obvious people who come in and troll pros, because pros are probably streaming, yeah? Especially high-profile names. You could just be like, oh, this guy clearly is trolling the pro to try and get a reaction out of him. Let's get rid of him. You know, you don't want that. It's very complex, very, very complex. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, guys. I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video. Subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.